Thank you so much for joining us on another edition, our 50th of Lunch Out Loud Ottawa.
Yeah.
My name is Nick Batrusky.
I'm Andrew Miller.
And of course, we're the podcast that talks to the people, places, events, and music that make Ottawa the incredible city that it is. Some special thank yous right off the top. First of all, to Joey Arsenal from Herd Magazine for the great new logo. Love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
A lot of fun. Thank you so much, Joey. Herd Magazine, 1 year anniversary coming up this month, at the end of the month.
We'll have to have them back on the show too soon.
Absolutely. And also want to thank ottawastart.com for featuring us every Saturday online. So, of course, keep telling your friends. Find us on Facebook. Like us on iTunes. If you can review it, that's all great. Yep. But before we get to our special guest, Zachary Robichon, why don't we check this out?
Hey, my name is Matt Francis, and I'm the lead singer and guitar player from Ottawa band Weird with Cats. You're about to hear our whole 3-song brand new EP, Ya Ra Hooray, which you can get for free at weirdwithcats.com, and you're going to hear it all here right today on Lunch Out Loud. Also, if you're in the neighborhood, we're going to be playing a bunch of shows. And then shut up. Stop it. We're going to be playing a bunch of shows in the next little while, so come check us out at Mac Hall on November 23rd. Wow. At Mac Hall on November 23rd or Avant Garde on November 28th. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at Weird with Cats and give us a like on Facebook. God, yes, I'll feed you. Just one second.
Now, is there anyone out there who wants to go fast? Anybody?
I want to go fast.
All right, so thank you so much, Weird with Cats. That was quite the intro. Loved it. And so we are here with Zach Robichon. We are at Top Karting because we wanted to take on Ottawa's top racer on his home turf.
Yeah.
I was absolutely horrible.
I beat Nick. That's all I needed.
I think there was I had the trouble car, though.
Oh, yeah, it must have been the car's
There's always
fault.
a problem.
There's a problem with the car. That's why I spun out multiple times and finished 3 laps behind you. But so you race outside mainly, right, Zach?
Yeah, this is actually the second time in my life that I've ever driven a kart or anything indoors. I think the last time I was like 13, so that was, 8 years ago.
Awesome.
That did not show at all.
Yeah. Well, the basics are still the same. Gas on the right, brakes on the left, steering wheel still in the same spot, so just a little bit different, but still a lot of fun.
How did you like that? Is it different? It's a big difference between the outdoors and indoors, right?
Oh, yeah, like even the race kart, so in the race karts, it's always outdoors. It's quite a bit faster. It's such a tight track on these things. You're sort of always turning nonstop, but it's a different challenge. It's a lot of fun.
It's a heck of a workout too.
Yeah, my shoulders are killing.
I couldn't imagine you doing that in an F1 car.
Yeah.
How long are your races generally when you have to do that?
Well, it depends. Like in the series I'm running right now, the races are about 35-40 minutes. Those aren't that bad. Like I think I could keep going for a couple hours, but
wow.
you got to be able to stay focused the whole time. So you got to be strong, but that sort of comes with time. Like it's sort of muscles that you never use doing anything else.
Exactly.
So even in the gym, you kind of end up doing some weird things to get in shape for racing, but it really helps when you're on track, and nothing substitutes for seat time.
Oh, that's cool. Well, absolutely awesome though. Either way, Top Karting. I haven't been go-karting since I was maybe 10 years old, and we're talking 23 years ago, and where we built one back in the country with an old rotor-tiller engine. So if anybody in Ottawa, you haven't been, I'm telling you, Top Karting is awesome out here in Hull. It's It's
if you have a
sick.
rainy day from 2 to 4 p.m. and you're not at work during 2 to 4
Yeah,
p.m.
$1 a minute.
$1 a minute, so
Can't beat it.
$15 when it's normally $33 for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
it's
great
a good time. So Zach is the Canadian race car driver, Rookie of the Year for the BGR Team Grote
Yeah.
in the Toyo Tires F1600 Championship. So Rookie of the Year, that's congratulations.
Yeah,
That
congrats, bud.
Thanks.
Sounds amazing. There's been good people I saw ahead of you. But first, with all of our guests, we like to get to know more about you, how you came to Ottawa, your favorite kind of things in Ottawa, your favorite restaurants. If you do have time when you're not racing, where do you like to go out? Where do your friends go out?
Yeah. Born and raised in Ottawa. Never lived anywhere else. Lived in the same house my whole life. If I'm not in Ottawa, I'm usually at Trauma, where I have a cottage.
Sweet.
So grew up here. I don't even know when my family moved here, so I'm just going to assume a long time ago. So as far as, the Ottawa life, I love Ottawa just because, there's so much, not that there's so much stuff to do compared to the city in Toronto, but there's so many, the canal, it's just unique like no other place.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to live downtown, so I'm near Lansdowne Park. I can walk downtown if ever I go out or anything, so that helps.
You don't drive.
Not if I'm going downtown, no.
I suppose when you do it for a living almost.
Yeah, well, like most people, when they drive with me, other than in the corners, they actually think I drive kind of slow, but I'm like, oh, what's the point? Anybody can go fast in a straight line.
There you go.
But, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what kind of restaurants or what kind of bars are people going to at university these days? What are the big hangout spots?
Well, for me, my favorite restaurant's one near my house, the Barley Mo.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Down on Bank Street, I think that's my number one. If ever I get the choice where to go, I go there. As far as nightlife in Ottawa, there's I think the most popular one's always been the Cabin down on York Street, still and always. And my friend's actually a bouncer there, so we he's I want to say manager doorman, but I really don't know. But so I think that's sort of the place to go. Where whenever I go with my friends, that's always where we go. Yeah, that's my pick.
So they go now.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So, how did you get into race car driving? First of all, coming from Ottawa, it's not everyone's a race car driver here because they're driving 60 on the highways these days.
Yeah. Is it a speed addiction?
Actually, probably is because I used to ski race when I was younger. So one thing that I've always liked to do is go fast. So skiing a lot. You'll see a lot of ski racers that actually they love cars. They have fast cars. They bring their cars to the track. So I think like you said, I think speed addiction might be a good word. But me, I got into it. My dad used to race back when he was young, so that was a long time ago, back in the 80s. So he actually raced in the same series I'm racing in now. Just everything was a little bit different a long time ago. So, it was always sort of part of in my blood, if you could say.
So you went to the track with him a lot, I guess, when you were younger, sort of thing? Or?
Yeah, well, he stopped when he had kids. My mom was like, oh, you got to stop now, you have kids.
I guess that's the line, eh?
Exactly. So, but it was always on TV at my house. If you ever go to my house, it's almost guaranteed at least an hour during the day there's going to be race cars on TV.
F1 or NASCAR? Which?
Either or, whatever's on.
Okay, either or. Okay.
Okay. Is there a lot of hatred between the two?
Some people think there are. I think the purists will say, the purists of F1 guys will hate the NASCAR guys thing. It's just an ovals. But then the NASCAR guys say that F1's not real racing. So I don't really care. I just like watching race cars go around. So I'll watch whatever's on TV.
I personally think the F1. I mean, you have multiple corners.
Yeah.
As opposed to going in a circle constantly.
Yeah. Like it's a whole different set. Like. From what I've heard, I've never actually driven on an oval, but apparently it's much tougher than what it looks like, and I believe it. Right, you're going like 200 miles an hour in a car that weighs like 4,000 pounds. So I can't imagine they're the most responsive cars in the world. But
320 kilometers.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, but
a little quicker when we were going this morning here.
Yeah, well, we were going pretty fast.
You topped out at 55 kilometers an hour.
I got 61 though.
You got 61. So what's your ultimate goal through doing the racing? Are you looking at this being a potential career, or?
Yeah, I think that's a big question, right? Because one thing about racing is that there's so many kind of different professional levels of it. It's not like hockey where there's the NHL. Actually, I shouldn't say that because hockey's got that stuff in Russia.
Well, yeah, different countries have all their different pros.
You can get paid elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. But in racing, you got NASCAR. You have this new series coming up. You have the United Sports Car Series. You have IndyCar. You have Formula One. Then you have touring car in Europe. You have DTM. There's so many different levels of professional racing, and they all sort of have their own kind of path to get there. So I think me, like like the goal would be IndyCar. If I were to say, oh, I want to be an IndyCar driver. But realistically, if someone asked me, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be able to say, I make my living as a race car driver.
Yeah.
I don't care if I have where and what it is. If I can make a living out of it, that's my absolute goal.
So what were the steps coming up to this? I mean, clearly you didn't just hop in an F1 car of sorts and start ripping around a track. Like were go-karts somewhere where you started, or shifter cars or whatnot?
So it's not F1, it's Formula 1600.
Formula
F1's
16.
a whole different game.
Okay.
Those guys got so much money that's why they're there.
Okay, gotcha.
But no, so I think a lot of people, what they'll do is, they'll just say, oh, I'll just go. I can drive a car on the road. I can race, but it's racing starts like at a young age. It's like any sport. There's a development to it. Yeah. So you'll see 99% of the drivers now who are professionals. They all started in go-karts. Most of them will start when they're 8 or 9 years old. Some started a little bit older. I started when I was 14 because skiing was my main priority, so I didn't really have time for both. So I didn't really start karting until I was 14. But you'll see a lot of the guys, they'll start when they're 8 years old, and they'll go through they'll go up through the different steps of karting, and when they're 15 or 16, they'll jump into a car. And then, like I was saying earlier, car racing has so many different sort of ladder systems. And the IndyCar series has a very set ladder, which is sort of the first step that I'm in. That's open wheel racing. So that's F1600 is the first step in the open wheel ladder. Okay. And then you'll progress up that. And then if you want to go race NASCAR, then you start at your local oval track and old beat up looking cars, but still
work up to modified and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about following those steps and just progressing. One big mistake you'll see in a lot of drivers, they'll just try to go right at the beginning. They'll go, if they have a lot of money, they'll skip a few steps. Then what's going to happen? They're going to get to a higher level where all these guys have way more experience, and then they're kind of there like, oh, this is a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. So it's really important to get the fundamentals and work up, and what's great about the Toyo Tires 1600 series. It's all about drivers learning. They're not super fast. Like the cars will top out about 220, 230 kilometers an hour, but
that's nothing. Yeah.
Well, I'm comparing it to other types of things. Yeah. But it's the absolute best series to learn car control, because if you look at like an Indy car or something, there's big wings on them, right? And that gives you downforce, which gives you more grip. But the F1600 series, they don't have wings.
Oh, okay.
So the car is kind of like driving. Like I'll be going through a corner 180 kilometers an hour full sideways, because the car slides so much, and so it teaches you a whole crazy amount of car control, and that's the type of thing that any sort of racing you go into that will help.
That's one of the main things. That's what I did not have today was car control.
I did that. I drifted some good corners there.
I'm terrible at drifting. Terrible at all.
So did you experience a lot of success then with right off the bat with go-karting and shifter cars or whatnot or anything? Did that kind of build you up to deciding, okay, I'm gonna get into the F1600 series sort of thing?
Yeah, like the karting, like when I started I was 14, so I was racing against kids that had already been racing for 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
So I sort of started off on the back foot. I didn't have as much practice as the other guys because of my skiing. I didn't have time to, some of these guys, they go to the track every weekend, they practice, which is really the ideal situation. But
how many hours would they practice per day on the weekend?
They'll probably do 3 hours a day.
Holy jeez, 3 hours of that.
Yeah, well, maybe not 3 hours on track. 3 hours at the track, so let's say an hour in the kart. So I think before my first race, I think I had done 3 days. And everyone else I had racing had already done 6 weekends that year. So I was like, okay, let's go.
How'd you do that race?
I finished last. But,
good
sometimes...
place to start.
Yeah,
go up,
Exactly.
You got to start from the bottom.
I got nowhere
first.
to go but up.
There you go.
And then, so when I was racing, I didn't actually race full-time until I was 17. I never did a full season. I was always, had other commitments and just didn't have the time. And, it does require a little bit of money to pay for it. So we were, spending a little bit of money on skiing, and I was going away, for 3 weeks at a time during the summer, going to train in Chile. So after I decided...
That sounds tough.
Yeah, actually,
for skiing? Chile
Chile was for skiing.
Sweet.
So that's a lot of fun, actually. If anybody,
I bet.
Yeah, if anybody is a ski...
Patagonia region?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It was in Chile.
Yeah, it was in Chile. It was about an hour away from Santiago. That's all
wonderful.
I can tell you.
Nice.
But, so then eventually when I started racing full-time, then I started getting a little bit more success. Towards my last 2 years in karting, I ended up, I won the Quebec Championship in 2011. That was in 2011. I finished third in the Canadian National Championships. And then the following year, I finished second in the Canadian National Championships. And then I ended up finishing 8th at the World Championships. So that was
Wow.
November 2012, and then after that, I had done a little.
Where
bit
was
of
that one
cars.
again?
Portugal.
Portugal.
Yeah,
Sweet.
so
So
there
you're
was,
getting some tours in here at least, right?
Oh
Some
yeah.
travel aids,
Oh
some
yeah.
travel.
I have a great life out of it.
Yeah, well, no, that's great. You're getting to see the world.
Yeah.
But, you want to take a quick break here?
Yeah, let's take a
Nick's
quick.
flagging me down here with the checkered flags. And
Yeah, I don't know their hand signals. So I don't know what's going on.
Let's take a quick break and listen to some more Weird with Cats.
Weird with Cats.
This song's called List, and we'll be right back with Zach Robichon and talk more about Portugal and auto racing in Ottawa. Be right back. All right, so that was List with Weird with Cats, so we'll right
Moon in the sky, barely a cloud to see. But man, can't you tell? I don't do well in certain company. Streetlights are on, and I can barely see a thing. But woman, don't you know? I don't wanna make love, I just wanna sing. The things I won't do, words I won't speak, the things I won't say, they make a list, baby.
All right, so that was List with Weird with Cats, so we're right back with Zach Robichon. And yeah, another big thing that on Monday it was announced that the Ontario and Quebec F16 tours will combine to make a new interprovincial Formula 1600 Super Series.
Yeah.
Has this never happened before? That sounds pretty normal.
Yeah, it's happened before. One thing, Ontario and Quebec's in car racing and karting
and everything.
and everything, they always they both want to do their own thing. They both think the way they do it's better than the other. But then now the Toyota Tires 1600 series is under new management this year, and they've done a really good job of promoting the series. So now they've kind of put behind them like all the differences, and they're like, look, the best way to grow the sport is by making like what they're calling it the Super Series, which is I think is a perfect name.
Yeah.
So that's 4 premier races that they just want the best guys to go, and it's kind of an all-out race, and it's at the biggest venues. They're planning on going to the Montreal Grand Prix, the Honda Indy in Toronto, and they have a couple more dates that I'm not entirely sure about. But just like that's the 2 biggest races in Canada.
So you're planning to race at both those.
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, that's the plan.
So
Awesome.
on your team,
Yeah.
how many other racers are there on the Team Grow team?
This year, full time, we were 2 drivers, and other drivers will do the one-off weekend. And there's also customer cars underneath the tent. But the Brian Graham Racing, he has his own. He has 3 cars, and he's got the big. So there's this year he had 2 drivers full time.
You and Jesse.
Yeah, me and Jesse.
And Jesse finished first.
Not in the championship.
Not in the
No, I finished front in the championship.
Can-Am Cup.
Yeah, he won the Can-Am Cup. He won the big race.
You're going to win it this year.
Yeah, I'll win it this year. No,
That's what I like to hear.
No, Jesse's a really good driver. He's been racing. That was his second year in 1600. He was also racing in USF 2000 in the US. So he's a great young driver. Good future in front of him.
So what other places have you got to travel? You mentioned Portugal.
Yep.
You were just in
England.
England last week, was it?
Yeah.
Or-
So this year with the 1600 series, so a little bit like last year in the karting, I went to represent Canada at the World Finals.
The Formula Ford Festival.
Exactly. So this year, it's been 3 seasons now. Brian Graham, actually, the owner of BGR Team Growth, is founded what's called the Team Canada Scholarship. So he looks to give Formula 1600 and Formula 2000 drivers a chance to go race in Europe if they, at a competition that they may not have had the chance to go otherwise.
Oh,
so,
that's great.
Yeah. So this year is myself and Scott Hargrove, which is he's the USF 2000 champion. So we were both picked to go represent Canada at that event. That was a fantastic event. It's kind of like it's almost like the World Championships of Formula Ford, without like in karting they have the set World Championship, but this unofficially has always been looked at as the big event. So that was great. That was fantastic.
How many racers around the world were there?
There's I want to say 60 cars.
60 cars.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was.
And how many fans would be watching? How many people were out at the event during the weekend?
It was kind of crappy weather.
Yeah.
So
Typical
in England,
in England,
typical
yeah.
British,
Well,
yeah.
when I got there, I was like, oh, it's raining. Like, I don't think I was there for 10 days. I think I used my sunglasses for a total of an hour.
Oh, God.
And everyone's. I noticed that nobody there even owns sunglasses because I guess they really don't need them. But no, it was. I don't know, but there was quite a few. There was 2 grandstands that were like almost full. So I'd say probably a couple thousand.
A couple thousand
on.
racing in front of.
Yeah.
What about Portugal? How many people were there watching you in Portugal? The big F1 fans out in Europe, eh?
Yeah,
A lot bigger.
Probably about the same.
Okay.
There's no grandstands over there, but there was sort of just people standing everywhere. It was a huge event. I don't think I could put a number on it, but I'd probably say.
How's the networking going for you while you're there? Because you're meeting racers from across the world that you might know them through doing research.
Yeah.
They might know you. How's the camaraderie around that?
I think all race car drivers are kind of the same. You know, they all have the same goal. They want to move forward.
Drive fast and win. Ricky
Yeah.
Bobby, what does he say?
I want to go fast. But
Did you guys just say that to each other? I want to go fast. No, I want to go fast.
I've said it a few times, but everyone kind of looks at me weird. But no, I think you'll notice in car racing more than anything. Like in skiing, and everyone sort of gets along because it takes a special kind of person to want to go do that. So everyone sort of. You know, obviously there's rivalries. You know, there's always the people you want to beat, but at the same time, you sort of get along with everyone.
Yeah,
So
once the race is over, the handshakes,
Yeah.
great job
for
sort
sure.
of thing. And,
You know, sometimes it doesn't go so well, so you know you get in a little shouting match with people, but that goes
stand
over.
on top of his car and kicking his head.
I've never done that. I've thought about doing it, but I didn't do it.
You thought, okay, when somebody cuts you off?
No, it was something else, but I don't really want to
What
get into
about
that.
in terms of sponsorship?
Yeah.
How did you go about? I know that that's got to be the biggest thing. I've known lots of friends that have been in motocross and then stock car type things, going into modified, and it always comes down to money.
Yep.
How do you go about getting more sponsors, or did you just luck out because your father used to do it? He already had the connections, or how did that all come about?
The biggest problem with car racing is finding sponsorship. Like you'll look at Formula 1 drivers, without being rude, like they're all very good drivers, but I'd say half of them don't really deserve to be there. They're just there because they were able to pay their way there. So the toughest thing about racing is just trying to find sponsorship. Like this year, I was lucky enough, my dad said, look, this year we're going to do this, and we're going to use it as a building year to try to find sponsors going forward, because it is quite expensive, so it's sort of you can't keep spending that same amount of money each year. So then now I'm trying to use my success to just sort of tell people, like, look, I can work with your company, and it's all about looking forward and finding those people who want to work with you. And like sponsorship sometimes isn't the right word. Maybe it's like partnerships, because it's not just somebody giving you money. You want to be able to give them something in return by, bringing a car to a trade show or going out to a customer appreciation event. Like one thing I always say for sponsors is like, look, you're going to go pay for a round of golf for everybody. Why not bring everybody to a race? Mm-hmm. That's sort of like an alternative, and it'll cost them way less. They don't have to pay whatever it is, $100 for everybody's tee-off fee. They just got to get to the track, and it's like there's hospitality and everything. So it's sort of trying to sell yourself to people, which is a little bit uncomfortable because you feel awkward, sort of. But you do what you got to do, and like for next year, that's what I'm working on right now. I've been working nonstop trying to find partners to go forward. Like I've got a couple of plans worked out of what I could do next year, but they all have sort of a budget attached. So then I know, okay, if I get this much money, that's what I'm going to do. So that's where we are right now. Looking forward to next year. So.
Using your skills as a business person.
Well, that's it, because you're in school for economics and minor in business, right?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Do you find that helping at all? Helping kind of with this?
Yeah, it helps me keep my feet on the ground. It helps me kind of realize that there's more to life than just racing. But it does help me. I think it helps me when I'm looking for sponsor, even when I'm talking about racing, because it allows me to see the world from a different perspective. A lot of these kids with a lot of money, they're in racing, they don't really know anything. They just know racing. Mm-hmm. Whereas being in university, it really kind of it keeps me motivated to work even harder and just know that nothing comes free. I just got to keep working at it, and eventually it'll work out.
I mean, God forbid, you always need a backup plan, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How many hours a week are you practicing now?
None.
This must be a little
where
off
do you?
season,
You're stuck in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Where I know there's a couple of tracks, but again, oval tracks out in Calabogie.
Well, Calabogie's a road course.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. I've never been out there.
Yeah.
I know some friends that they like to soup up their cars and off they go.
Yeah.
Or do you go racing? God forbid, up in the Gatineau Hills ever?
No, no.
Okay, is that completely off limits because you're more of a professional race car driver, is the street racing thing completely frowned upon from those you work with?
Yes, because
Okay. I know it's illegal, first of all. So
yeah, no, that's one
but-
thing. But when you get it, one thing, because I work at a kart track at Toronto, and I tell people, even if you can drive your car as fast as you want on the road, you'll never get a sensation nearly as what you get driving on the track. So when you get it out on the track, you really have no need to go do that, because you're never going to be able to go to the limit, and you're putting yourself in so much more danger than everybody else.
Yes.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah,
It's
true.
I
You're
just
that
don't
street racers?
Yeah,
Knock it off. Go
well,
to
it's
the track.
like you'll spend less money going to the track, or like a similar amount of money, and you'll have way more fun because you're actually on a proper race course.
And like you
You're
said,
not-
a lot less risk. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
going to get, you're not going to lose your license. You're not going
No.
to get your car taken away and or crash it where you have all these parts that
Yeah.
insurance aren't covering anyway.
Yeah, no, for sure. So it's like, I don't get it, but
What about going to the gym? Like we said, that
Yeah.
was. I mean, me and Nick. I mean, I went to the gym the last couple of days, and that was a workout.
Now what?
For
It's a
15
little bit
minutes, I walked.
sweaty.
We were both sweating. You must have to go to the gym here and there. I mean, just to train
Yeah.
for this, like.
yeah. So like, I'm fortunate enough actually to be sponsored by a Position 1 Motorsport Fitness. So that's what they do. They supply people who race. They supply them workout programs. So I get that for free, and I help promote their
Sweet.
product. So I'll be at the gym 4 or 5 days a week. Not for long, probably for 40 minutes.
That's the optimal time.
Well, that's it. You don't want to overdo it. You don't go to the gym for a couple hours.
Yeah. And it's really specific workout. It's not like it's not like bench press and stuff. It's not bulking up. It's about sort of working the muscles that you're going to use. And like you guys saw, it's nothing like it's not muscles you've ever felt before. When you get out of the cart for the first time, it's like, wow, I didn't even know I had a muscle there. That's
Yeah, those shoulder muscles.
yeah.
Sweet.
My last question: favorite car ever raced you've ever used?
Well, I've
Do you
only
get to ever
raced
do
one
that?
car, so the Formula 1600 is a fantastic car.
Yeah.
So that's the only one.
So the next up, you're going
Hopefully
F2000.
F2000. That's the goal. Maybe a little bit of both next year if all works out. Working both in. They're working on a new championship in Canada for the F2000. So hopefully that works out. Cross my fingers because that would be fantastic.
Sweet.
But favorite road car is Porsche.
Okay.
That's what you're
Porsche?
asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Porsche.
Who's the best racer right now in Formula One?
Well, it's Vettel. It's nobody likes to say it because he wins by so much, but there's a reason why he keeps winning. He is the best right now. But my personal favorite's Kimi Räikkönen, just because he's entertaining. But I have to say right now, Vettel's the best.
And he's from Britain, right?
No, he's from Germany.
I'm totally wrong.
Same continent, I guess.
Right on.
Same content. You're close.
Thanks so much, Zach,
Awesome,
for
man.
joining
Thanks,
us.
guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
for
Thanks for
having
the
me.
race. there.
Learn a
That was
lot.
great.
I hope people listening to this will
Yeah.
learn a ton about
Absolutely.
racing and
Yeah, and how can
help
people
sponsor.
follow you just if they want to? They want to see how you're doing.
Yeah, so Facebook.com/Zachary Robichon.
Okay, we'll put that on our
That is,
our
yeah.
Facebook page
Perfect.
too. So
And
yes.
if you guys link up to that, you have my Twitter and Instagram and all that. And that's all I'll talk about
That's
racing.
oh,
about
and real quick,
yeah.
kids out there that want to be a race car driver,
Yeah.
what are they going to do? Start go-karting, I guess.
That's what it
Go
is.
karting.
5 to 7 years old, get out there and start go-karting.
Yeah, like,
I'm going 5 years old.
Five. Actually, some start at 5.
Why
I'd
not?
say ideal 6 or 7. Start racing when you're 8. That's what the best ones do. But
Yeah.
I think
8 years old there.
8.
Mine will.
Yeah, perfect.
Sweet,
Send 'em out
awesome.
racing.
Thanks
Send 'em
for
to me.
joining.
Well, let's get into some events happening this weekend. What do you got happening there, Zach?
Actually, this weekend I got a pretty big weekend. I got tomorrow night. I got my Toyo Tires F1600 banquet, and then Saturday night I have the CASC, which is the governing body banquet, both in Toronto. So tomorrow
wow.
after class, drive straight over to Toronto.
Sweet.
Wow.
And so yeah, that's my weekend. I don't know
Awesome.
what else
Way
is
to
going on in
represent.
Ottawa.
Well, what's happening in Ottawa there, Nick?
Tonight at the Centrepoint Theatre at Crush Improv, we'll be taking stories from Andrew King. So we've had
Oh.
both guests on.
Yep.
And then they're going to be doing improvising. I wish I could make it out to that, but I have prior commitment. That's
Yeah,
going to
that'd
be
be
a lot
cool.
of fun. Tomorrow, there's a couple of festivals that are happening in around town. You got the Tattoo Fest over down the street at the casino.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Casino Laglimi.
So it's $50 for the weekend, $20 for the Friday. Everything tattoos in the city. You also have Poutine Fest happening on Spark Street this weekend.
Oh my God, are you kidding
over
me?
20 vendors.
I can't believe I'm missing that.
That's
What?
going to be a lot of fun.
Poutine Fest.
So it's going to be a little cool. So get out there, get your Kurt on. That's what Les
That's
always says.
awesome.
So $20 gets you a pass to sample all this kind of stuff. That's going to be great. I'm going to check that out on Sunday
Yeah,
before
for
football.
sure.
Saturday, we also have the European Film Festival going on. that's pretty sweet.
Oh, right on.
Saturday, you got the annual Christmas Party Before Christmas, which is being put on by the Ottawa School of Art, Beyond the Pale, and Jack Pine. It's $20, which includes a donation to the young people of Canada. I don't know.
Screw that up. Top of the world.
$10 drink tickets.
Top of the world. Something happened there again. Saturday.
What do you got?
Top of the World and Bridgehead. From 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. They're going to be serving some continental breakfast. They've also made their own brew, Top of the World. I guess they got two of them up there with Bridgehead. So one of them's almost sold out, but they will have some more available. So I guess Diego and Patrona. Yeah. Anyway, so you can go and grab those right at Top of the World.
That's at Top of the World?
Yeah, right at Top of the World, 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. on Saturday.
Also it's the last farmers market of the year, so that's kind of sad. So get out there, get some vegetables before it's too late. Sunday night, you have the social book exchange at Oz Cafe, and so that's quite a bit of stuff. Do you get anything else?
Enough things? No, I'm just scrolling through, and no, that's about it.
That's awesome. Next week is going to be an awesome episode. We get to go out to the Fulcrum to let all the alumni of University of Ottawa know what the hell is going on at the University of Ottawa these days. You're going to get a catch up on all sports, what things are cool, what are kids
cool these days?
What are kids arguing about these days? Maybe it's the same as when we were back there. So it'll be a lot of fun with that. So we'll listen to one more song from Weird with Cats. This is a great song called Down and Alone, which I hope you are not this weekend. Anyways, have a great weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Zach.
Thanks for having me.
All right, number 50 is done.
He wouldn't let us stay, but my knees, they still bleed, for I still pray. Youngest boy, he never made it alive.